That mother fighting back against mom shaming after being investigated by Child Services, all because a neighbor called the police when she let her daughter walk the dog by herself. We're going to speak with Widen and her 8-year-old daughter, Dorothy, in just a moment. But first, a closer look at their story. This morning, a parenting debate raging after the police were called on this mother and daughter.
I saw the police just there, like the police's car, and I heard the sirens going off.
I said, did I do something wrong? And she said, well, how old is she? And I said, she's 8. And she said, okay, well, we got a call that she was 5 or under.
8-year-old Dorothy Widen was out by herself walking her dog Marshmallow in her Chicago neighborhood earlier this month when someone called the cops. That call leading to a visit from police and an investigation from the Department of Children and Family Services.
They found it unfounded, but it took a lot to get to that point.
Lenore Skenazy, an advocate for the free-range parenting movement, says independence is important for children.
When you give your kids independence, it's a chance for them to become resilient.
Earlier this year, Utah's governor signed a bill giving parents the freedom to allow their children to do more activities independently, without being penalized for child neglect, like walking to school, playing outside, and staying home alone. New York and Texas are now considering similar legislation. And in a statement to ABC News, Illinois Department of Children and Family Services says, we did what the people of Illinois asked us to do. We investigated. We found no wrongdoing on the part of this mother, and we closed the case last week. So Mom, Corey, and daughter Dorothy and their little dog Marshmallow are all joining us live now. And Corey, I have to ask you what your initial reaction was when that doorbell rang and you saw police on the other side of the door.
Shock, anger, fear. My first response was I thought they were there for fundraising or something, but when I found out what the call was really about, I just couldn't believe it.
And then I'm sure you felt equally appalled that it was a neighbor who called police. What do you say to people who say, hey, 8 years old is too young to walk a dog by herself on a neighborhood street?
I would say every 8-year-old is different, every neighborhood is different, every parent is different, so you can't make an overall judgment like that.
Yeah, talk a little bit about where you live, your neighborhood, and why you felt it was safe for Dorothy to walk Marshmallow.
We live in a beautiful neighborhood. We're very fortunate. We live on the North Shore of Chicago, Wilmette, Illinois. It's safe, it's clean, it's beautiful. We're very lucky. We stretch and sacrifice to be there, but that's why, because it's safe.
Yeah, and Dorothy, why do you like walking Marshmallow?
Because it's very fun. I'm walking him, and I like it when he walks on this side and of the sidewalk, and I look that he's very fluffy and stuff like that.
He is super cute, and I'm sure I know this is a chore. I have a chore for my children too, to walk the dog. This is something that you think is important for Dorothy, and you believe you get to make that decision as a mother.
Absolutely. Yeah, I also homeschool my kids. So Dorothy, this was something we did to start giving her more independence because I didn't feel that she had enough. So I wanted to make that step of her being away from me a little bit more.
And I want to ask you, because the department obviously did what they had to do in terms of the law investigating you and your family, but what does that do to your children to see and feel what happens when an investigator comes to your home? And it's a pretty invasive process.
Very invasive, and it's traumatizing for the kids, always, and there's no way to shield them from it. I do think that changes need to be made because the call should have never gotten as far as it was. The initial call was for an unattended 5-year-old, and once they knew I didn't even have a 5-year-old, it should have stopped there. Yeah. I don't think it should have ever even made it past the hotline that a little girl walking her dog needs to be investigated.
What do you hope people take away from this story?
Don't judge a book by its cover. You don't know every situation. You don't know every child. And that when you do things like this, you overwhelm an already overwhelmed system with nuisance calls like this. And kids and families who really need help don't get it then.
Corey, Dorothy, Marshmallow, thank you. He was a very good dog during this.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.